Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your source material, sometimes it's overwhelming, and we try to turn it into, sharp, actionable knowledge.
Exactly.
And for you, our listener, the learner, today we're digging into just one document. It's a very specific astrological forecast, just for Virgos, covering October 2025.
And this is a really great example of how we can take something that feels maybe a bit general, like a horoscope, and actually make it tactical.
Right.
We're looking past the broad cosmic stuff. The mission here is to pull out the clear, critical guidance for this month.
Okay.
Finding those specific behavioral tweaks needed for work, money, love, and health.
Okay, let's unpack it then. We've got this whole month, October, laid out. And right away, the source material kind of throws down a challenge, doesn't it? Especially for the typical Virgo way of being.
It does.
What's the main instruction, the core theme for making October work?
Well, the overriding instruction is really, really focused on balance.
Balance, okay.
Specifically, it's about the need to actively, consciously slow down a little. The source is hinting that if you don't put the brakes on intentionally, that usual Virgo drive, it could actually backfire this month.
That makes sense, because that drive, that attention to detail, it's usually their strength, right? Their superpower.
Totally.
But here it's being flagged, like, watch out, this could be a hazard.
Precisely.
And that brings us to maybe the most provocative line in the whole thing, the motto for the month.
Yeah, that's a key one.
Progress over perfection.
That phrase is basically the heart of this whole forecast. It really gets that the Virgo tendency is often to hold back, delay acting until something feels absolutely flawless.
Waiting for 100%.
Exactly. And October demands a shift. It's saying choose the forward momentum, even if it's just 80% done, over getting stuck chasing that last elusive 20%.
But wait, isn't that idea like deliberately choosing imperfection? Isn't that fundamentally against how a Virgo's wired?
It can feel like it, absolutely.
Right. So how does the forecast suggest they actually, overcome that resistance?
Yeah.
Because it's deep-seated.
Well, it connects it straight to opportunity cost.
Okay.
The forecast is basically saying there are big opportunities this month, but they're time sensitive.
Got it.
So if you delay trying to get it perfect, you just miss the window altogether.
Right.
We need to frame the shift not as like getting lazy or cutting corners,
No.
but as being way more efficient. It's about defining good enough for now and then moving on. Maximize the output.
Okay, let's apply that straight away. Professional life. Career.
Yep.
The forecast mentions opportunities to shine at work. So if Virgos want to grab those, what does progress over perfection look like on the job?
It means focusing on getting things done, getting them out there, rather than getting lost in endless tweaking and scrutiny.
Okay.
The tension the forecast points out is exactly that. Huge potential clashing with self-inflicted stress from over-editing everything.
Yeah.
You have to stop being the bottleneck in your own workflow, If you spend 3 extra hours fixing a tiny grammar thing that doesn't even change the meaning, well, that's 3 hours you didn't spend starting the next important thing.
That's the classic developer trap, isn't it? Never releasing the beta because you're still polishing some feature nobody even asked for.
Exactly that.
So the explicit instruction, don't stress yourself with perfection, means you've got to treat your mental energy like a budget.
Yes, a finite resource.
And allocate it to creating, not just correcting endlessly.
Precisely. The source implies that what people actually want from you this month is momentum, completion.
Not necessarily a flawless museum piece.
Right. They want to see things moving forward. And by prioritizing that forward motion, the Virgo gets seen as a driver, someone who makes things happen. That's what lets them shine and get ahead professionally in October.
Okay, that's a really clear mandate for the workplace. Now, if we're thinking about efficiency and rigor at work, we should probably apply that same thinking to money, right? Let's pivot to finances.
Makes sense.
The general outlook is steady. That sounds good, reassuring.
It does.
But financial stability often has strings attached, doesn't it? What's the potential snag here? The thing Virgos need to plan for?
The critical snag is a pretty high risk of unexpected expenses. The source isn't really predicting a major financial disaster. It's more like several small or medium things might just pop up.
Like what?
Maybe some admin fees you forgot, urgent repairs on something, perhaps some travel you weren't planning for, things that just derail that feeling of stability.
So it's death by 1,000 cuts, potentially, the cumulative hit from the unpredictable.
Exactly.
And this is where the forecast plays to a Virgo strength. Right, their natural abilities.
Absolutely. It specifically calls them out as being inherently great planners.
All right.
So the advice isn't, hope you win the lottery. It's use that skill you already have, that organizational muscle, to build some resilience.
What's the specific action?
The action is to budget smartly.
Okay, but how does a great planner budget smartly for something that's literally labeled unexpected? That seems tricky. Does it give any hints?
It implies moving beyond just general saving. It's about preventative earmarking.
Earmarking?
Yeah. Smart budgeting here means creating a specific, separate line item in your budget. Let's call it the October Oops Fund or something.
Okay.
And funding it is non-negotiable. You're basically using your planning skill to plan for the existence of the unexpected, even if you don't know exactly what form it'll take.
That's really practical. It's not just save more. It's formalize your contingency plan.
Right.
And doing that helps them stay on track. Stops those surprise costs from forcing them to raid their main savings or, mess up investment goals.
And that focus on financial orderliness, it actually feeds back into the work theme.
How so?
If your finances feel chaotic or vulnerable, it creates mental noise, background static.
Oh, okay.
And that makes it harder to keep that progress over perfection mindset going at work. Stability in one area supports stability in others. It's holistic.
Right, all connects. Okay, let's shift that analytical gaze inward now. The emotional side. Love life. The forecast says it's feeling more emotional this month. Given the overall theme, progress, not perfection, what does that mean for relationships? How should Virgos behave?
This might actually be the trickiest area. Because that critical Virgo nature, it's often deeply tied into how they communicate.
Yeah, that analytical eye doesn't always switch off.
Exactly. So the more emotional vibe this month requires a pretty immediate change in behavior. For couples, the forecast is super direct. The mandate is less criticism, more support.
Wow. Okay, turning off the inner editor when dealing with your partner. For some Virgos, that must feel like asking them to stop breathing.
It can be really challenging, yes.
What's the goal of that shift? What's the promised outcome?
The goal is basically to stop draining the relationship.
Draining it.
Yeah, that Virgo analytical energy, when it's constantly pointed outwards at a loved one, analyzing and critiquing, it can be exhausting for both people. It creates friction.
I can see that.
So, by consciously swapping critique for active support, for empathy, the forecast promises relationships will grow smoother in October.
Smoother.
It means recognizing your partner isn't like a project you need to optimize or debug.
Right, it's the emotional version of the career advice.
Yeah.
Don't try to perfect a partner, just accept the relationship is, a work in progress and focus on moving forward together.
Beautifully put, yes.
And what about single Virgos? The forecast mentioned a specific way connections might happen.
Yes, it gives an interesting clue about where romance might spark.
Ooh.
It suggests it's most likely to happen not in some, perfectly planned, high-pressure social event.
Right, not the fancy gala.
No, but through work or daily routines.
That really reinforces that theme of focusing on the here and now, the everyday.
It does.
It means being open during the team meeting, the coffee run, the trip to the gym.
Exactly.
Instead of waiting for some perfectly scripted rom-com moment.
Right. It takes the pressure off trying to create or find the perfect dating scenario. Connections that form in these everyday settings, they tend to be based on shared reality, actual conversation.
More grounded.
Much more grounded, which is probably a healthier foundation for a Virgo anyway, rather than something built on trying to project surface level perfection.
Okay. Now, if you're trying to accept imperfection at work and fighting the urge to critique your partner and setting up contingency funds, that's a lot of mental effort, a lot of pressure building up.
It is.
Which brings us naturally to health, self-care. What's the main hurdle for Virgos this month, according to the forecast?
The main hurdle is stress, unequivocally.
Stress.
The forecast flags it as the number one thing to watch. Health is generally described as okay, but all the things we've talked about, the opportunities, the emotional shifts, they compound.
Right.
And it means Virgos are running a really high risk of burnout if they don't actively step in and manage that stress. Their nervous system is particularly sensitive this month, it seems.
So just saying eat your greens isn't going to cut it.
Not nearly enough, no.
We need specific, practical, preventative steps. Things that combat this particular kind of Virgo stress. What does the forecast prescribe?
The guidance is all about preventative self-care, focusing on things that are low impact but give a high return in terms of calm.
Like what specifically?
The source is very clear. Prioritize rest, make sure you sleep well, and build in calming practices. Crucially, it actually names things like meditation or light workouts.
Okay, meditation makes sense. But why light workouts? If stress is high, isn't the instinct sometimes to go hard? Like really intense exercise to blow off steam?
That's a good question. Intense exercise is great, but for the Virgo mindset, it can sometimes become just another thing to perfect. Another performance metric.
Another checklist item to stress over.
Exactly. The forecast seems to be prescribing activities that require low mental effort, low cognitive load. Light workouts, think gentle stretching, yoga, maybe just a slow walk outside. They give physical release without demanding high performance. And meditation does something similar for the mind. It forces you to decouple from all those details causing the stress in the first place.
So it's about building in active rest, making space for that calm, which is essential for managing your energy, as the forecast puts it.
Yes, managing energy is key.
Because if that energy gets drained by overthinking and stress, that default setting, perfectionism, criticism, it just clicks back on.
It absolutely does.
And then it sabotages all the progress you were trying to make in work, love, money.
That's the ultimate connection. Taking care of their energy is non-negotiable. This forecast isn't about just passively hoping things go well. It's about active, balanced living.
Right.
If the Virgo feels rested, feels mentally quieter, they have the capacity to choose progress over perfection.
But if they're exhausted,
they just fall back into the old habits, the criticism, the over-scrutiny, the stuff that makes October harder.
Wow. This really has been like extracting a tactical guide from what looked like just a forecast.
It really has.
We've pulled out 4 clear areas needing specific behavioral changes for October.
Yeah, if we boil down the playbook, it's basically professionally. Stay balanced. Choose action over endless polishing.
Got it.
Financially. Budget smartly. Set up that specific oops fund.
Okay.
Emotionally. Show love without the red pen. Focus on support.
Less criticism, more support.
Yep. And finally, health-wise. Protect your energy. Make time for mandatory low-key self-care. Rest, meditation, gentle movement.
And the final promise, if you do all that.
The final promise is pretty appealing.
Yeah.
Focusing on this kind of balance makes the whole month feel lighter and more rewarding.
Lighter. I like that.
Yeah. It shifts October from feeling like this demanding, grinding to-do list into potentially a month of smooth, productive flow, where you actually seize the opportunities and your relationships feel better.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to take into October, something to chew on. If the entire success of this month really hinges on making that huge internal shift from criticism to support, from perfection to progress, what's the one single non-negotiable daily habit you need to start on October 1st? What's the thing that guarantees that mental and emotional shift actually sticks?
That's a great question to ponder.
Is it like a 2-minute gratitude practice every morning? Is it pausing for 5 deep breaths before you reply to any potentially annoying work email? The Virgos who nail October will be the ones who figure out their personal circuit breaker and actually use it consistently.
Understanding the map is one thing, right? But actually driving the route, applying these changes, that's where the real benefit comes in. Look at those 4 areas. Work, money, love, health. Figure out maybe where your biggest challenge lies going into the month.
And start there.
And dedicate your progress over perfection energy to that one area first. Build momentum.
Excellent advice. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.